viewers, welcome to another episode of the Big Leap from Mirai Asset. Today we are very proud to have with us Mr. Krishnan from Value Invest of Chennai. Mr. Krishnan is an engineer. He is also an MBA, the quintessential combo for our industry. He has worked with long time back with companies like ITC, L&T. Then he worked with Kotak Mahindra for a very long period of time. After which he started his own setup called as Value Invest in Chennai, which is now almost 15 years old. He has been taking care of almost 150 plus families, managing their investments and guiding them on the path to financial freedom and financial planning. We are very happy to be associated with Mr. Krishnan for now almost 8 to 10 years when we have been working together. So thank you, Mr. Krishnan, for taking out time for this event. Thank you for joining us on the Big Leap. As you would have known, we have been showcasing our advisor partners on their journey on the financial services, how they came into this line, what has been their experience. So without any further ado, I would really like you to talk about your journey. How did this line of business work for you?
ITC,
Yes.
I was in the financial division then, where ITC had a large plans of getting into mutual fund and insurance business.
Sure. Yes.
In fact, they did have a ITC Trinity Mutual Fund.
Yes. Long time back.
Planned to get into Eagle Star of UK as an insurance partner.
Yes.
And we had a lot of merchant banking outlets within ITC group.
Yes.
Classic was category 1 merchant banker. Then we had Bhadrajalam Finance. Then we had Agrotech Finance. Other companies were Cat 2, Cat 3 merchant bankers. It was completing a lot of advisory businesses in financial services. The idea was not to quit any company actually. So ITC also had different plans then. I think the markets were not very conducive to financial services.
Sure.
At that point in time. So ITC decided actually to get out of the business. So that made me to also, I think they sold their company to ITC Classic, was sold to ICICI Group. So that is a point in time most of the people from financial services moved away from ITC into different other companies.
Yes.
So that point in time I joined L&T. So L&T again I was part of division where we were raising money for Larsen & Toubro regularly. It was a AAA paper. So we had a lot of innovative structures those days to raise money for L&T.
Yes.
At that point in time, it was the interest rates were falling and L&T had raised money at a reasonably high coupon prior to that time. So we started structuring papers and a lot of demand for AAA. I think that point in time only 2 AAA papers were in the market. L&T and Grasim, if I remember. I don't think we had any other AAA papers.
Yeah. You're talking about early 2000s.
Yes.
Yes. They were the 2 papers.
Experience had in debt markets.
Okay.
Kept me in a reasonably good grip of probably whatever, it was coming in. Then of course L&T also had a different plan that time. So they had appointed Boston Consulting Group as a consultant, BCG. And they also ran, and then journey with Kotak started. Then there was an interdepartmental transfer from securities to mutual fund.
Okay.
I was part of Kotak Mutual Fund.
Yes.
For almost 6.5 years. I was handling institutional desk there. I didn't have a geographical restriction.
Okay.
Those days, these people had not come into mutual funds.
Actually,
So all of them were sitting on the wall, cat on the wall. Like, should we get in? Should we get out? What is this animal mutual fund? Is it something different?
Yes.
A lot of conviction because of the fact that I knew these people from the beginning. I've been part of the system, so they're willing to trust us, and then they started investing in mutual funds.
Sure.
And I was also handling a lot of banks in Kotak. We used to get a lot of entry. We got an investor into mutual funds. That was the kind of work I was doing. All of them were getting into the mutual fund for the first time.
Okay.
That's how the whole thing started. So that is the time we thought, okay, maybe we should start. And a colleague in Bangalore called Ramesh, he's working somewhere there now, but he was part of his Value Invest or something. So one of the guys was instrumental in starting this company. So me and Venkatesh Babu continue to be in Chennai and we are running the company. So that's how this company started, and So when we were in Kotak as a mutual fund employee, we had brought in a lot of clients. First, as I say, first time investors.
Sure.
So when we started this business, we didn't have too much of a problem in getting all those clients as their investors.
Okay.
The first year, we almost clocked, I think, a reasonable large AUM. That's how the journey started.
Now it's been almost 15 years, right? So in that time, what do you think has been the key milestones which really got clients to engage with you, or you found that this is what your clients would look forward when they look at a financial partner and as an advisor?
Yeah, for us, it looked as though we just continued that journey.
Okay.
The industry. We didn't find the break was too much in terms of converting ourselves from an asset management profile to a distributor profile.
Okay.
It's just like, it was like till yesterday we were an AMC person, today we are a distributor.
Yeah.
Because even when we were an AMC person, we used to diversify.
Sure.
Most clients continue to ask our advice.
Yes.
Whether we should invest in other, how much should we park in each mutual fund. And we continued the journey, and then we try to actually capitalize that part also. So as long as we worked in one entity, belonged to, we couldn't do that. We couldn't say, we used to tell them, you can also look at the other schemes available in the market, other companies. But then once we became a distributor, we tried to capture that of market also.
Sure.
It was a continuous exercise, and it was an interface which probably started in 2000. So, till 2006 or 7, we were all like employees of an asset management company. Then from then it became a distribution. So that's how.
Could imagine it's more than 2 decades that you would have literally taught them what mutual funds are.
Yeah.
So how was your experience getting new clients? You would have known a lot of the people who are actually whom you were interacting with. They were your initial investors. So how did you get the new people to come and look at mutual funds? And we are talking about 2003, 2002, right? So how did you get them to convert to mutual funds?
Yeah, there are numerous instances that there was a particular client whom I had to follow for 5 years.
Wow.
To finally crack him into get into a client.
Okay.
So the point is, with his 5 years, I used to talk to him almost every 15 days.
Wow.
Every 15 days I chat with him, and he never got bored of my call. He's never avoided my call.
Lovely.
So every time you speak to him, there has to be something which you can share with him.
Sure. Yeah.
So the most important thing is basically to know exactly what's happening in the market. Okay. What are things that are affecting the market today? Why it is happening? We never lost hope or despair. We never got into a situation where we felt, oh, this person may not respond. It's never been like that. So it's a continuous process. It's actually a process. And I was involved in the process even in my previous assignments. So I love doing the process. In fact, for me, the biggest excitement I get is in cracking a new client more than anything else. So cracking a new client is the best thing which can happen to a sales guy.
I agree.
We are out and out sales. So we just keep looking for new clients. We just keep looking for new people.
Lovely.
For that, we arm ourselves with the current environment, what's happening.
Sure.
Probably what has helped us, our experience in the markets, in the debt markets, in the mutual fund markets. So I think when we started also, we did realize there was a lot of young guys in the market who were competing with us.
Yes.
But in terms of fortunately of our experience, I think we somewhere managed to have an upper hand. So anytime something happens, we get a call today. Anything in the market.
Lovely.
The person need not be my 100% investor with me. He can have 20% of his money with me, but I keep getting calls to tell them exactly what's happening in the market.
Sure. So it's been such a long time. So you would have seen the markets from almost 95 onwards. So you have seen a lot of regulations also change. How have you seen regulations and how in the past, and how do you see it going future when it comes to our line of business?
Yeah. So regulation is something which was bound to happen anyway. It was already happening abroad. So it was something which would anyway happen here.
Agree.
And I think one of the report which was prepared by the government, they had appointed a committee and all that. I think they did come out with the numbers where they felt that There was a lot of churning happening in the market. It was not going to be taken well by anybody sitting in any regulatory body. They may have thought that somebody is taking, so that was bound to happen. So we were always anticipating something like that. We were always anticipating it, that we continue to work towards it. So our job was mainly to get as many clients as possible and give the best advice.
Sure.
The point is being passionate about what you're doing. As long as you're passionate and you try to get more and more clients and you try to get, give the best advice, which is more client-centric. It has to be a client-centric finally. I mean, that is the time that's the only way you can continue to be, he can continue to be your client. The moment you get swayed a little bit because there is some other benefit which may be accruing to you and not to him, then I think that point in time it becomes a little, you're started treating a risky trade.
Sure. So it's been such a long time, and I'm sure there are clients who would be now dealing with you for almost 20 years. What do you think has been your success mantra, that these are the reasons why clients always stay on with Value Invest, and this is what they see with you and with the firm, and which makes them stick around for such a long time? Yeah.
60 to 70% of them were people who we brought them to mutual funds as individuals.
Okay.
There might have been a different background behind me. Somebody may have had a different visiting card. But the point is, we got them into this scheme of things, the so-called mutual fund schemes, is because we are very patient people actually. We spend time. Most of our meetings last for 2 to 3 hours.
Yeah.
You don't have 20 minutes, 30 minutes meeting, never like that.
Okay.
It's always long meetings, long chat. Most of the doubts are clarified. Unfortunately, because of our experience and the prior, we prepare ourselves very well before a meeting. So we do have, most of the time we manage to give solutions to our clients.
Okay.
So that is the reason they find us as a comprehensive advisor. And if there is something which doesn't suit the client's profile, we just tell him don't be in that product. It may be something which we also sell, but if we believe that it doesn't help the client, we just say no, it's not for you, it's for somebody else. It's for a person with a higher risk appetite, it is not for you, let us not get it. They're very, very clear about it.
So you use any tools to evaluate client profile, or is it a matter of meetings and spending that time with clients over such a long periods of time? Like you said, 5 years is a long time to talk to somebody without being a client. So do you use that time, or you would rather evaluate tools which help you judge schemes or judge client profiles or look at markets, or would you look at that it is better to talk to clients one-on-one?
Yeah, technical tools always have to be used. Okay. How do we prepare ourselves for a meeting with the help of these tools?
Yeah,
we have tie-up with some of the best advisor in the mutual fund products which is provided.
Sure.
I don't know whether it will be marketing for them if I tell them the kind of tools we are using. Sure. They're reasonably high-class products. You can even call them the world. They may be international companies.
Sure.
Yeah, we use tools. That gives us a scientific way of, because we got to have a scientific proof, or we need to have a scientific feel.
Exactly. That's what I was trying to understand.
And the tools are definitely we have used most of the.
Okay.
And the kind of analysis we can make today is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Probably it was not there when we started our business. Well, today, there's so many things available which you can do analysis on.
Okay.
That way it is, tools is a must, obviously. I mean, without that it's going to be very difficult.
Sure.
That also helps us to put our report in a very lucid fashion.
Absolutely. So that's what I'm trying to say, that would you use them to see that the offering looks quite organized and relevant to the investor? Lovely. So my last question would be, sir, that a lot of people who are seeing this are practitioners and people who are evaluating this as a profession. So what would be your views on this? What would you advise to somebody who comes and looks at this as a profession, especially in today's extraordinary situations of COVID times? How do you look at the business going ahead, prospects?
Actually, this is a time when we should continue to hold on to our clients. We should continue to interact with them more often.
Okay.
Have you been interacting probably once in a month? I'm sure each person has his own chart.
Yes.
Increase the frequency, because the client may not be getting the right information. He may be not in a frame of mind to listen. Every time you call, he may not be in a mood to listen to you because he'll have his own problems. So try to bring him to that frame of mind where you can actually tell him what's happening in the market. We do a lot of research now. We are trying to find out where the vaccine, when it is getting ready. I send a report to my clients on the kind of research is being done on vaccine, which are the labs which are doing it.
Okay.
What is the likely date when the vaccine will be generated?
Okay.
So all those things also we start. So we have to keep the client informed on whatever is happening, which is possibly helping the market in one way or other. Like people continue to say medical solution is one thing which is
yes.
So we also do a bit of research on that. We keep trying to keep this updated, and whenever it is possible, we try to keep our client also updated on the same. And I think this is a very good time actually, because whatever good advice we had given, like say credit risk funds, we were never there.
Okay.
We were never part of credit risk fund for a long time. 4 years back, we are out of it actually, almost.
Okay. Okay.
None of our clients got stuck in any of the episodes which has happened recently.
Lovely.
No client has got stuck with the liquidity at least.
Okay.
So we are very, very glued to the portfolio. I will know each and every paper in a particular portfolio. What is the collateral? What is the guarantee? Who is the rating agency? We are very particular.
So the debt experience of 20 years back helped during 2020.
Yeah.
Is that? Yeah. Lovely. So thank you so much, Mr. Krishnan. I think my takeaways for this is that you can still talk to somebody for 5 years every 15 days if he's still not a client, but the perseverance and the process is much more exciting than probably the end destination is, which is converting somebody. But engaging is probably more than winning the client. And that engagement is by itself a fun. I think that's a big takeaway from me. I think taking tools, understanding that product, which you talked about, research the product before taking it to the client and then making it look like something which is a solution. But the research has to be very binary, if I would say. It may be felt as a quality, but at the end it is about the binary and what is inside a product is more important. That a financial intermediary should be very capable of understanding it and then only carrying it to the investor. So thank you so much for taking out time. This was a lovely interaction. I think there are some special points which has come out in this conversation. I'm sure the viewers will be quite happy to note some of those points and take it into their working. Again, we value your support with us, your working with us and our association with Value Invest. We only hope and to take it more further ahead. So all the best to you, to your firm, and thank you so much for taking out time. Thank you so much.
Thank you for
Thank you.
Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme-related documents carefully.